Luciferic and Satanic Aramonic forces explained. Greetings, young adventurers. I am Zoran the Dragon, your wise and whimsical guide through the mystical realms of spiritual science. Today, we embark on a journey to explore the intriguing concepts of Luciferic and Satanic Aramonic forces. Accompanying us on this enlightening adventure is the brilliant Dr. Robert J. Gilbert, whose wisdom will help us understand the nature of these spiritual forces and how to balance them in our lives. Zoran the Dragon's quote: "In the dance of the cosmos, spiritual forces pull us in various directions. By understanding and balancing these influences, we find our true path." Zoran the Dragon. Zoran explores spiritual forces. Zoran. Greetings, Dr. Gilbert. Today, our young readers are eager to learn about spiritual forces, particularly the Luciferic and Aramonic forces. Can you share your insights on what these forces are and how they influence our lives? Dr. Gilbert. Absolutely, Zoran. Spiritual forces are the invisible energies that shape and influence our thoughts, emotions, and actions. They are part of the cosmic dance that guides our spiritual evolution. The Luciferic and Aramonic forces are to such powerful influences, each with its own characteristics and effects on our lives. Understanding Luciferic and Aramonic forces. Luciferic forces. Zoran. What are Luciferic forces, and how do they influence us? Dr. Gilbert. Luciferic forces are associated with light, enlightenment, and the pursuit of higher knowledge. They are named after Lucifer, the light bearer. While these forces can inspire creativity, intellectual pursuits, and spiritual aspiration, they can also lead to ego inflation and the disconnect from the material world. Individuals influenced by Luciferic forces may become overly idealistic, detached from reality, and prone to spiritual fantasies. Aramonic forces. Zoran. What are Aramonic forces, and how do they influence us? Dr. Gilbert. Aramonic forces, named after the Zoroastrian entity Ahriman, also known as Ahriman, are associated with materialism, crystallization, and the physical world. These forces encourage a focus on material success, sensory pleasures, and the tangible aspects of life. While they can drive practical achievements and stability, an overemphasis on Aramonic forces can lead to excessive materialism, greed, and the denial of spiritual realities. Balancing spiritual and material influences. Zoran. How can we balance the influences of Luciferic and Aramonic forces to lead a harmonious and fulfilling life? Dr. Gilbert. Balancing these forces involves integrating both spiritual and material aspects of our existence. Here are some key principles to achieve this balance. Cultivating self-awareness. Zoran. How does self-awareness help in balancing these forces? Dr. Gilbert. Self-awareness is the foundation for recognizing the influences of both Luciferic and Aramonic forces in our lives. By observing our thoughts, emotions, and actions, we can identify when we are leaning too heavily towards one extreme and make conscious adjustments to restore balance. Embracing both spirit and matter. Zoran. How can we embrace both spirit and matter in our daily lives? Dr. Gilbert. Embracing both spirit and matter involves acknowledging the importance of both spiritual and material pursuits. We can engage in practices that nourish our spiritual growth, such as meditation, prayer, and contemplation, while also honoring our material needs through work, relationships, and physical well-being. Developing spiritual discernment. Zoran. What is the role of spiritual discernment in balancing these forces? Dr. Gilbert. Spiritual discernment helps us distinguish between genuine spiritual experiences and illusions. By developing discernment, we can avoid the pitfalls of ego inflation and materialism, making informed choices that align with our higher purpose and true spiritual path. Connecting with spiritual guides and traditions. Zoran. How can connecting with spiritual guides and traditions support this balance? Dr. Gilbert. Engaging with authentic spiritual guides and traditions provides valuable insights and support on our journey. Traditions such as Zoroastrianism, the Egyptian spiritual heritage, and Rosicrucianism offer wisdom and practices that help us navigate the complexities of spiritual and material influences. Acts of service and compassion. Zoran, how do acts of service and compassion contribute to this balance? Dr. Gilbert, acts of service and compassion help us transcend self-centered tendencies and connect with the greater good. By serving others and acting with kindness, we align with higher spiritual principles and create a harmonious balance between our spiritual aspirations and material responsibilities. Conclusion. Zoran, Dr. Gilbert, thank you for sharing these profound insights on Luciferic and Aramonic forces. It is clear that by cultivating self-awareness, embracing both spirit and matter, developing spiritual discernment, connecting with spiritual guides and traditions, and engaging in acts of service and compassion, we can achieve a balanced and harmonious life. Dr. Gilbert, it has been a pleasure. Zoran, remember, the journey to spiritual understanding is one of continuous learning and growth. By understanding and balancing these spiritual forces, we illuminate the path to our true selves.